Welcome to Invest Insights. I'm Abby Maloney. I'm joined today by Dan Lugo, the president of Queen's University. He joins us for our discussion today on resilience. Dan, the decision was made to have the fall 2020 semester 100% virtual. How has the experience of handling the pandemic in these past months prior to the fall semester helped to inform and adapt the university's approach to best administrating the curriculum this semester online?
Unlike our spring semester, which was converted to virtual format in an emergency circumstance, we had the benefit of a period of time between April until August to prepare both for a return to campus, which we had very much hoped for and done quite a bit of work on, but also to know that in the most humble way that the virus posed a pretty serious threat to the health and safety of our community. So back on July 30th, when we made our decision to convert 800 of our in-person courses to virtual course offerings and to be completely non-residential, we were very, very prepared. Queens has a strong history of online course offerings, and that allowed us to have expertise among our faculty. We have a strong IT platform that is, knock on wood, been very, very resilient and reliable in our execution of our courses. And what our students love best about the Queen's education is the adjacency, the intimacy that they have with world-class thinkers, scholars, and teachers. And our virtual online platforms have been able to retain that. And so we're getting quite good feedback from our students. That's been reassuring that we made the right choice. And that we aren't causing disruptions. What we're seeing kind of around the country is this sense of, oh, we'll start later, we'll leave, we'll come back, we'll do a lot of this. The predictability of what we've been able to achieve has been perfect for Queens and Queens' students and faculty to have an undisturbed virtual semester being conducted as we speak.
And as a part of your announcement, that meant that sports would be suspended this semester. What does that mean for sports in the winter or the spring?
Yeah, we work very closely with our conference, the South Athletic Conference. We're one of the most competitive Division II national sports programs, consistently competing among the top 10 of Division II performers in Learfield Cup standing. So it was a very, very serious undertaking to think about what that meant for the fall semester, and the South Atlantic Conference agreed that we weren't in shape to safely conduct our sports this fall. But what we've learned is that the NCAA has moved along with its kind of contemplation of what the right testing regimen would be as we reacclimate our student athletes to campus. We're very, very gung-ho about the work that's going on for our winter sports planning. And when those winter sports like basketball and swimming, which we excel at, will be getting going this winter. And we're very, very fortunate to have the facilities, the administrative talent, the health and wellness talent to be able to conduct all of our sports between the winter and the spring. And that's not true for all universities. And knock on wood, we're in quite good shape to be able to reestablish, re-socialize, and get our student athletes up to snuff and ready to compete when the NCAA and our South Atlantic Conference deems it appropriate.
They say that crisis breeds opportunities. So I'm interested to get your take on what you believe the opportunities are for higher education. I think overall, but maybe if you could comment also on specifically in the Charlotte metro area.
Well, I think there are opportunities in higher education, even in these tough times, that will have a chilling effect on the overall industry. And so, I won't sugarcoat things, but the best in brand institutions will thrive. And Queens is well positioned to be the premier private university of Charlotte and to grow and to thrive. The city of Charlotte needs us. As I see it, this is one of the most dynamic regions in the country that is attracting incredible employers and corporate entities to our region, and they need our talent. And so there's a mandate and a calling for us to figure out the programs that are going to be most relevant for the 21st century and to adapt, to change, and to grow and thrive. And the pandemic has allowed us to think about how we can do things differently. It's allowed us to think about our campus differently and even things from our employee-based working relationship with how many people need to be on campus versus don't need to be on campus for our space planning, how we execute on thinking about our mix of classes that are going to be virtual as well as in person. And increasingly, this third lane, the opportunity to actually be hybrid, to scale the participation that you could have in courses. So I think there's a robust number of things that we are wise to think about and to continue to do even beyond the pandemic that will help strengthen our business model and how attractive we are to students for the next decade plus.
Yes, how has this experience, what has this experience taught you about the perceived ceiling of virtual learning?
I think it's a mixed story. Virtual learning is here to stay. There's no question about it. And we've gone through an ebb and flow of, oh, the MOOCs are coming, they're going to take over everything, versus, oh, the MOOCs are dead. And I think we're at another inflection point. On the very, very positive side, I think the best institutions that have the best teaching and pedagogy are going to be able to extend that teaching and expertise and pedagogy into the virtual space to teach even far numbers of students far beyond their regional reach. And I think that Queens is well positioned to do that. But I don't think that we've hit a point where everything will be virtual. And what's actually cutting against that is that we need to actually pay attention to what's happening in the K through 12 space. Not only has college been virtualized, the K through 12 experience has been largely virtualized across the country. And I'll candidly say it hasn't actually been going that well. So I don't think we have a huge generation of folks that are desperate to learn more online. What we actually have in terms of our traditional age groups that are coming into the college funnel and pipeline, they're desperate to be on campuses, in class spaces, and to really take advantage of the adjacencies that affords them. But virtual will grow. It's an opportunity for the best in class that teach the best. They'll teach the best not only in person, but online. And I think that's the direction that we'll head at Queens University.
In July, the university renamed the Burwell Hall to Queens Hall in an act of support towards the fight against inequality. Could you tell us a little bit about that initiative and what other initiatives Queens University is currently spearheading to continue combating inequality?
Yeah, I think that's an important topic. And I would reframe it a little bit from the way your question asked it. Because this is work that Queens had been doing long before all of the traumatic events that led to incredible social upheaval this spring. Back in the fall, we heard and learned about a number of concerning relationships that an institution that's been around for a long time. We were founded in 1857, so and in Charlotte, North Carolina. So it's not surprising that we have intersections with the institution of slavery. And as we learned more, we thought it was best that we would impanel a task force. Our Queens History Task Force on Slavery and its Legacies has been working for months. And one of the things that they covered first was an important connection that our first president and family had to the institution of slavery. And our trustees were confronted with, is it an important thing for us to address that? And we thought it was, and we thought it was no longer appropriate to honor that family with the lead name for that administration building. And so we did rename that building and add actually to our history, not to get rid of history, but to add to the texture and complexity of our history and to recognize the experience of everyone that was a part of this community at that time, and that is in alignment with who we are and our mission and our values today. So I think that that's very, very important work, but it's really not the work. The work is actually thinking about diversity, equity, and inclusion in its broadest and most important sense. It's ensuring that we are educating our vast diversity of this region and of our nation in a way that puts Queens in a position to benefit from all of that talent and connects us to launching that talent into the community. It's also ensuring that as we invite diverse audiences in, employees, staff, students, that we recognize their differences and we actually celebrate that and ensure that they're fully immersed and not just visitors to our communities, that they own the whole entire experience. And then equity is critically important. Are we preparing our community to meet people at their different, and disparate sense of socioeconomic difference on our campus? And that has oftentimes an ethnic and racial component to it that we need to address. I think we're doing quite well at Queens in understanding those issues. There's a lot more to learn. There's incredible expertise we can learn from listening to others. And it's a priority for us. This is not just a moment in our history. This is actually a time for us to think about not only what's right, but what is competitively in our best interest as we move into a much more diverse 21st century, so that we could be at the vanguard of really taking advantage of the full spectrum of talent in our nation and in our community.
As we film this interview, we are sat in September. The pandemic has been lasting much longer than I think many people have anticipated. How are you planning for spring semester enrollment?
Yeah, I mean, we're working quite hard. So first and foremost, our enrollment at Queens has been quite strong. We were very, very pleased to actually have been up in new students and up in important metrics financially, like down in our discount rate. So that doesn't come by accident. That comes because of our hardworking team in enrollment and admissions, as well as just the growing brand strength of our community that has really positioned us to be exactly what a number of students are looking for. And so we believe that will carry forward to the spring, but it's critically important that we do everything that we can to return to campus. And we're learning quite a bit. We had an excellent plan that partnered with nationally, highly regarded healthcare providers in our community. Novant Health was our provider, providing medical, public health expertise bringing that to the table. And we'll continue to think about how do we fine tune our plan on all of our social distancing practices, on our testing practices, but how do we actually create a culture that wants to keep each other safe? Because I think that's actually the biggest thing at play for being successful with a residential community is how ready is every community member to own their responsibility for keeping all of us safe. And I'm positive we're going to do a very, very good job of that this spring semester.
And my last question to you is, what have the last number of months taught you about resiliency?
I think it's taught all of us quite a bit. This is, I'm now above 50, and in my lifetime, we haven't seen complexity like this that are tugging at our bandwidth from every angle, right? So this is not just a business challenge. This is a personal challenge. This is a cultural and social challenge. And so everything is really hit a merger of challenges. And I think resilience is an important term. And one of the things that actually keeps us resilient at Queens is just the culture that we have of caring about each other, right? Even though we're virtual, we're still using the technology to bring us close together. And that's how we differentiate ourselves from other folks that say, oh, you can just get an education online. We're not just giving classes online. We are still an experience. We still have people getting support. We still have health and wellness going on. And that's true for faculty and staff. We are a tight-knit community. And so that closeness keeps us moving forward. And then finally, what I would say is the best organizations are not only managing crisis, they're thinking about the ways that they're learning from crisis, but they're also looking at the horizon. They're planning for what's next, what's around the corner. So they will outpace the competition when things return to some level of normalcy. And we're doing that strategic planning work as well right now at Queens. That'll position us for great strength for the next 5 to 10 to 20 years in our upcoming trajectory and history.
Well, thank you again. That was Dan Lugo, the president of Queens University. You've been watching Invest Insights. My name is Abby Maloney. Thank you for tuning in. Hey everyone, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so that you can stay up to date on the latest business trends from our knowledgeable experts. Be sure to check out the description below for more information on the segment you just watched. Thanks for tuning in.